As the clock strikes midnight on Halloween, the wind howls through ancient forests, carrying whispers of galloping hooves. Shadows twist into shapes of spectral riders, their eyes glowing like embers in the dark. And if you listen closely, you might hear your name called on the wind. One wrong step and you could join them forever. If this chills you to the bone, hit that subscribe button now and drop a comment below. Have you ever felt the wild hunt riding close? Let's uncover the shadows together. In the shadowed corners of medieval Europe, where mist clung to the moors and thunder rolled like the drums of war, a legend took root. It was an age of flickering torchlight and whispered tales around hearth fires, when the line between the living world and the unseen blurred under stormy skies. This is the story of the wild hunt, a relentless procession of the damned thundering across the night on All Hallows Eve. But to understand its grip on our fears, we must journey back to the roots of Halloween itself. When the Celts marked Samhain as the night the veil thinned and the dead walked among us. The Celts, those ancient guardians of the Emerald Isles and rugged highlands, believed the year died on October 31st. Bonfires blazed to ward off spirits and families huddled indoors. For on Samhain the other world spilled forth. Ghosts, fairies, and the restless dead roamed freely, seeking warmth in the homes of the living. It was a time of both celebration and terror, a fragile truce with the supernatural. But as Christianity swept across the continent, these pagan rites twisted into All Saints' Day, with Halloween as its eerie prelude. Yet the old fears lingered, merging with Germanic and Norse myths. Here the wild hunt emerged not as mere ghosts, but as a harbinger of doom, a cavalcade led by gods or demons racing through the gales to claim souls. Odin, the All-Father, with his ravens and wolves, was said to spearhead it in the north, his one-eyed gaze piercing the storm. In the south, it became the devil's own posse, black hounds baying at the moon. Imagine the terror in a 12th century village. A farmer pauses at his door, rain lashing his face. Distant thunder? No, hoofbeats growing louder. The sky splits open and there they ride. Armored knights on skeletal steeds, their cloaks billowing like funeral shrouds. Women and children vanish into the night, snatched by invisible hands. Those who witness it speak in hushed tones for years after, if they speak at all. But what fuels this myth across centuries? Let's delve deeper, piecing together the fragments like a forbidden puzzle. Historical records from the British Isles describe it first in the 11th century. Chronicled by monks who trembled at the accounts. In Wales, it's the Cwn Annwn, hellhounds with blood-red ears led by Odin, king of the underworld. Their howls echo through the valleys, signaling death for any who cross their path. Transitioning from folklore to fleeting glimpses of reality, consider the witness accounts that blur the line between legend and truth. In 12th century Germany, a chronicler named Gervase of Tilbury wrote of a furious hunt tearing through the Black Forest one stormy All Hallows Eve. Peasants swore they saw King Arthur and his knights, cursed to ride eternally until Judgment Day. The air grew cold as the grave, and those who peeked out their windows fell ill, wasting away by dawn. Fast forward to the 16th century in France. During a tempest on Halloween, villagers in the Loire Valley reported a procession of phantom riders, their horns blaring like the trumpets of apocalypse. One man, bold enough to step outside, claimed a rider paused, offering him a spectral horn. He refused and lived to tell the tale, though his hair turned white overnight. These stories weren't isolated. They spanned from Scandinavia to the Alps, always tied to that fateful night when the barriers weakened. Yet as we uncover these threads, a darker question arises. Were these mere hallucinations born of fear, or echoes of something ancient and real? In Ireland, the wild hunt intertwined with the fairy host of Samhain, led by the goddess Morrigan, shapeshifter of war and fate. She and her warriors would sweep through the land, abducting the unwary into their timeless realm. To this day, rural folk in the countryside avoid the roads after dark on October 31st, reciting charms to stay unseen. And what of the hounds? Always the hounds, black as pitch with eyes like burning coals. Folklore warns that their baying foretells calamity, plague, war, or the death of a king. In one chilling account from the 17th century England during the English Civil War, soldiers on a Halloween march heard the pack closing in. Men deserted in panic, convinced the hunt sought their souls amid the bloodshed. Survivors spoke of a rider on a white horse, cloaked in shadow, pointing a bony finger, selecting his prey. But what if the truth is darker than anyone imagined? As empires rose and fell, the wild hunt adapted, infiltrating the shadows of history. During the Black Death's ravages in the 14th century, it was blamed for carrying the pestilence on its wings. Entire towns bolted their doors, painting crosses on windows to repel the riders. In Scandinavia, where Viking blood still pulsed in the veins of the people, the hunt was Odin's wild jagd, a Yuletide terror that spilled into Halloween's domain, promising Ragnarok's prelude. We turn now to the edges of conspiracy, where modern eyes glimpse the ancient ride. In the 19th century, as industrialization scarred the land, sightings persisted. A Scottish laird in the Highlands, journaling by candlelight on All Hallows Eve in 1842, described a thundering host passing his estate. He noted the frost that bloomed unnaturally on the ground in their wake, and the silence of birds that followed. Was it mass hysteria, or a rift in the veil widened by humanity's hubris? These accounts build a tapestry of dread, but they pale against the heart of the legend, the reason Halloween still whispers warnings. The wild hunt isn't just a chase, it's a judgment. Those taken join the riders, doomed to hunt eternally, their cries a lament for the lost. Women in labor, children playing too late, the vulnerable vanish most often, and the leader, sometimes a goddess of death, sometimes a fallen king, always faceless, always hungry for more. As we peel back these layers, consider the patterns. Always on nights of storm and thin moonlight, always near ancient barrows or sacred groves, places where the old gods slumbered uneasily. In one forgotten tale from medieval Cornwall, a fisherman caught in the gales saw the hunt skim the waves, dragging drowned souls in their nets. He washed ashore the next day, mute and broken, sketching the riders in the sand before the tide claimed his warnings. But what connects this spectral fury to Halloween so inextricably? Samhain's fire rituals were meant to mimic the hunt's chaos, driving back the darkness. Yet as Christianity layered its saints over the old ways, the hunt became a demonic inversion, a warning that even on holy eves hell's gates creak open. Peasants daubed their homes with blood-red ochre, mimicking the hound's eyes, and chanted incantations to pass unseen. Now, As the storm gathers to its peak, we reach the revelation that binds legend to lingering terror. Deep in the annals of European mysticism, the wild hunt reveals its true face. Not random chaos, but a cosmic cull. Led by figures like the Germanic Woden or the Slavic Perun in thunderous guise, it rides to harvest souls at the year's turning point. Halloween, with its thinned veil, is the perfect portal. A night when the wild hunt doesn't just pass by, it hunts with purpose. Picture it, the sky fractures with lightning, illuminating a host of thousands, warriors from forgotten battles, maidens lost to curses, beasts twisted by sorcery. Their leader, often the devil in horned splendor or Odin with his spear Gungnir, calls out names from a tattered ledger of the damned. To be named is to be claimed. Resistance only prolongs the agony. In a 13th century Icelandic saga, a skald witnessed the climax. The hunt encircled a village, the ground trembling as if the earth itself fled. One soul, a defiant priest, challenged the leader and was torn asunder, his fragments scattered to the winds as a warning. This is the twist that chills the marrow. The wild hunt doesn't end. Those it takes become part of it, their humanity stripped away in an endless cycle. Halloween amplifies this, for on that night the living can glimpse their own ledger entry. Modern conspiracy whispers suggest it's tied to ley lines, ancient energy paths that pulse stronger under autumn moons, explaining why reports spike in rural England and Germany even today. A hiker in the New Forest in 1975 vanished after hearing hooves. Searchers found only frost-killed grass in a perfect circle. The revelation deepens the fear. What if the hunt isn't myth, but memory? Echoes of real persecutions, where witch hunts mirrored the spectral ride, or ancient migrations of tribes thundering through the night. In this light, Halloween's costumes and tricks become desperate disguises to fool the riders into passing you by. As the hoofbeats fade into the distance, the wild hunt leaves behind an uneasy quiet. Villages that once cowered now light jack-o'-lanterns, vestiges of those Celtic wards grinning defiantly at the dark. Yet the philosophy endures. In a world of certainties, some nights remind us of the unknown's vastness. The dead do not rest easily, and the hunt ensures we remember why we fear the threshold between worlds. Even now in our electric age, the instinct persists. Families gather indoors, sharing sweets under the guise of fun, but deep down they know, step outside too late, and the wind might carry your echo into eternity. Why do we still bolt our doors on Halloween? Because the wild hunt teaches that some pursuits never cease, and the night riders wait for the bold or the careless. What if this Halloween you hear the call? Will you answer or hide? In the shadows of the unseen, the mysteries unfold. Stay curious, stay safe, and we'll ride into the next enigma together.